Hey, good morning. It's May 6th. What's going on? Well, I'm sure you're seeing a lot of protests happening because of the situation that's going on with Israel and Hamas. But you know, this day in history, May 6, 1970, there was a nationwide protest that took place across many universities. And they were protesting the 4 students that were killed at Kent State and the Vietnam War. You know, protest does have its place in this wonderful history of America because that caused these universities to send a letter to the then President Richard Nixon asking him to end the war in Vietnam as quickly as possible. So last week, if you saw the video, it was on my visit to the USS Yorktown. Walking through that ship, there's a tremendous feeling of American pride and patriotism. Well, 13 years ago, another aircraft carrier played a very important role in American history. That is the USS Carl Vinson. So you remember that guy? Remember, for a good 10 years, that was considered the pure face of evil. Well, he was killed by a raid in Pakistan by a SEAL team. 5 people were killed. No American casualties, except for a helicopter that was lost and scuttled by the U.S. But the team returned safely. They were flown to the USS Carl Vinson, where religious rituals were done, and in the Arabian Sea, Osama bin Laden was buried. Why was he buried in the Arabian Sea? Well, the U.S. was afraid that to bury him someplace else might create a shrine for his followers, so that's the reason why he was buried in the Arabian Sea. What a tremendous moment when President Obama comes on before national TV at about 10:30 Central Time and announces, "Justice has been done." Okay, so now let's talk about justice. As I said, today is May 6th. This has been recorded last week because today on May 6th, I have jury duty. Woohoo! You know, a lot of people will sit there and say our justice system needs to be overhauled. And I'm probably one who would tend to agree with that. It seems like criminals are getting off, the process is too slow, the punishments aren't enough to create behavioral modification, and the victims feel just frustrated. How many times do you hear people complaining almost daily on the news about the various laws that are ineffectual, and they're pleading with the politicians to do something about it, and the politicians are very much inept? So yes, because of jury duty, you know, it's got far-reaching tentacles in how it affects people through me. It's not just affecting Mark Dupre, it's affecting the MLD agency, because this week I haven't been able to plan for anything because I don't know what the week holds because of jury duty, which means those of you who wanted to schedule appointments with me, I can't schedule those appointments with you. It's all going to be on, you know, catch as catch can basis. So this whole jury duty is just plain and simple a real big hassle. Well, to all the complaints that I personally feel and you personally feel, I kind of look at it like this. Too bad. I mean, we're living in the greatest country in the world at the greatest time in the world's history. We're not dealing with what's going on in, you know, Israel and that area of the world. We're not dealing with what's going on in Ukraine. We don't wake up every morning thinking about a bomb landing on our heads, our homes being invaded. So to me, to serve on a jury, yes, it's an inconvenience. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's also a tremendous honor to be asked to serve, and to serve appropriately. You know, one of the bases of our judicial system is when there's a crime or a dispute arises, the purpose of a jury is to, as impartially as possible, with evidence presented, make a decision. Wouldn't you want, if you're that victim, if you're involved in a dispute, to have your case judged by intelligent, hardworking, honest, impartial people? It's also interesting to have a better insight as to how our judicial system works. Sometimes that's good, Sometimes that's bad. If we don't like it, then we should vote for people who will make that system better. Oh, but isn't that what I've said about the Affordable Care Act? Shouldn't we have voted for people who would actually make a better system than what we've got? Wow, there's a thread through there, isn't there? So yes, I believe it's important to do your civic duty. I don't know what this week's going to hold, so I don't know what the video is going to be, but I tell you what I will do. I will let you know what my experience is like. So we'll see what it holds, and if there's something interesting that goes on and I'm allowed to talk about it, I'll keep you abreast. If I'm not allowed to talk about it, I'll honor what the courts ask me to do accordingly. Anyway, until next week,